Let's see what happens when we use this object style for a more realistic program. Instead of shape, let's change our Mo interpreter. Now we're not going to change Mo to be an object-oriented language just yet. We're just changing the style of our interpreter to use object-oriented elements. And I'm going to look in particular at environments and start there. Let me take our environment code and just move it down to the end where we have a lookup. So our environments right now are represented as a list of bindings, and we have a single operation on environments, which is lookup. And we have two different variants, effectively, an empty environment and an extended environment. So instead of an environment being a list of bindings, we're going to be, an environment is an object represented as a function. This function is the one operation on environments, which is lookup, so that means it takes a symbol and it gives us back a value. Okay. So for an environment to be a function then, empty environment needs to now be a function that takes a symbol that we're looking for. And extend-env is going to be a constructor. It's going to take a binding and also an existing environment, and it's going to give us a function that represents the extended environment. And since it's an environment, that means it's a function that takes a symbol s. Now to fill in the implementation of these two operations, we already have the implementation in the functional style distributed in the two cases of match. So that means that this error case moves into the match object here. We picked different names. Let's call this symbol N for name, after all. And then in the extend environment case, we were in the second case of the lookup function. So we've moved our different implementations from a single operation into the different objects. And in this case, we have another call to lookup here at the end, but if we want to think of rest-env as an object implemented as a function, then instead of calling lookup, we just call rest-env like that. So again, we got the same kind of code we have here, just organized in a different way. I'm going to keep the lookup function just to make our test easier, but just have it call the environment object call the environment as an object, passing along the name. So when I try to run this, I've got a problem with fun here instead of def. And rest-env corresponds to just this env argument instead. So I didn't get that name updated. But otherwise now our tests all work the same as before. We've just replaced our representation of environments with objects instead of different Shplait records, empty and conses.